Hi, I am at the end, hopefully the end of a cold, and that might affect my voice, possibly even to the better. Anyhow, let's go. This time I'm looking into using 2D in the coppercube. Coppercube is a program for making 3D games and applications, but you can do 2D things in it too. I have 2 earlier videos doing 3D stuff in coppercube. There will be links in the text below. Some of the things discussed in the earlier videos will be applicable here too, so you might want to look them up. So, coppercube is mainly intended to use by selecting entries in menus, but there are also possibilities to use scripts for a lot of things, and that is what I prefer. So that is what I will do here too, when possible. Here I have a 2D character walking on a 2D area. I am using 2D overlay items for the background and for the walker. They are flat surfaces that are oriented from the top level corner of the screen. So the background is at XY 00, and the size is the screen size, in this case 640 by 480 pixels. My preferred screen size. The walker overlay is smaller and its XY change as the character is moving over the background. To move the character's position, I am using input from the arrow keys on the keyboard. Here I have a bit of a problem. I have not found any way to catch input from the keyboard in a script in a HTML5 mode, so I have to use the menu system to set variables from the key input. In the editor, this can get a bit clunky from an aesthetic point of view. It is not really possible to see which of the menu alternatives cover a certain key unless you go into that menu alternative. This can be a bit tricky if you need to debug. When we have the key input sorted out, we can run the walking event in a script that we put in do before drawing something. The script gets repeated for each game loop. I have 3 images for the walker facing each other as the image of the overlay. The images are from previous games I have made. The changes of the image is regulated through a simple counting up function. For each loop, 1 is added until the clock reaches 60, when it is set back to 0. One thing that is important when having 2D overlays that overlap each other is which is drawn atop of the other. In this case, I want the walker to be drawn on top of the background. Do it the other way and you only see the background. Often in game editors that can be handled with a Z or depth coordinate. Coppercube don't seem to have such a coordinate. That means that we have to be careful in which order different layers are drawn. An overlay drawn earlier within a loop will be behind a layer drawn later. I have not looked into the best way to do this. Hide or show might be one way. I have to look into that more if I am going to do something a bit more complex with 2D. 2D overlays can be used for different user interfaces. One way to use it might be to have a mini 2D game inside a 3D game. I don't think making a full 2D game, though it would be possible, is the best way to make such a game. Maybe there are other interesting uses as well. Time will tell. A different way to do a 2D walker in coppercube is to use billboards. The billboard also take one or more 2D images. The active image is turned towards the camera. The billboard is part of the 3D world, so it has 3 coordinates for its position. It is, in fact, treated as a 3D object. I'm using the same key input, and the script for moving the walker is similar. The code for animating and moving the walker is very similar to the one used using 2D overlays. I'm using a stretched out cube as ground, and I use the standard skybox. One difference for the walker is that I use sprites for 4 different walking directions: front, back, right and left. I could have done that in the overlay example too. For the 3D world example, I need a camera to be able to run the game. I choose one that follows the character. Well, that is a short experiment with 2D in coppercube. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye for now.